All right, this is one of our last tutorials. I think everyone has gotten, or some of you have gotten, a scan from the VT library that probably didn't have RGB or color data. The techniques that we have used to retope them probably aren't helpful because there is no information there. So we're going to use Substance Painter, and we're going to use your phones or cameras to get a higher resolution. This is probably a better way to do it anyways. It's a good practice to know how to do this anyways. If you're going to be working at the Smithsonian or any other museums where you're doing retoping objects from scanned data, this is a good pipeline. All right, so some of these things we're going to skip, especially transferring the color data over. That's just not going to happen. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So we have a beautiful shell. So I'm just going to import, not load tool, import, sorry about that, getting ahead of myself. And we're going to import this shell, which is about 66.8 megabytes. So it's pretty heavy, so obviously we would not put that into a game engine or even on a rendering. It's just way too heavy. If we had hundreds of items in a scene, this would definitely kill it. All right, so I think you guys know what to do, and I'm just going to go back and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to look at my notes. So number one, we imported the object, and this cheat sheet is on the tutorials. I put them in the notes of the YouTube file. All right, so we import texture. We don't need to do that. We don't need to flip the textures. You guys know how to do that, but we don't need to do it. Change the surface quality. We don't need to do that either. Poly paint, make sure that. So these were a lot of steps that we did before. All right, so now we're going to duplicate objects, and then we're going to Dynamesh it. All right, so let's go back. I'm hitting Command Tab to jump back, and we're going to go down here and hit Duplicate, and we're going to go, I think, to the top one that we have selected, and we're going to hit Dynamesh, keeping the settings normal. Divide this divisions, and then clean up. So I don't think we have any cleanup on this one, hopefully. Just because I don't have time to do that. But again, smooth, pinch, and polish tools. Those are the three ones that you want to do. Also, when you're using those tools, make sure you're not in dot matrix. Make sure you're in a freehand. Also, please, if you have a lot of cleanup, do not use your mouse. Use a tablet. That's what they're there. They're in the room. Just go over there and grab it. Please make sure you return it, and so forth. All right, so we're going to do Dynamesh. I've already forgot. So duplicate. Now we're going to do a Dynamesh on that top objects. All right, so let's go down here and look for Dynamesh. I think it's in geometry. And again, I forget half the time. I always have to look at my notes or watch my old videos. They're really great, especially as you get older. Your memory starts to blur. All right, so we're going to Dynamesh it. All right, and we can see the polygons are going to go up through the roof. All right, I want to do it just once. All right, so Dynamesh. All right, and then didn't have to hit it twice. You just need to hit it once. All right, so Dynamesh, and then we're going to go and divide it several times. All right, so we're going to go back here, divide, go into our geometry. We've done a Dynamesh, and what Dynamesh does, we could probably turn off the bottom one, go up. And so what Dynamesh does is creates, make sure it's watertight. So there may be some issues in here. This is where you would probably clean it up. No one's going to look in there, but this is where I would start working with those pinch tools, smooth, get this as flat as possible. All right, so Dynamesh helps get it watertight. We'll probably do a project all here in a second. And we're going to go in here to our geometry, and we're going to go up to our poly count. I think divide it several times, clean it up. After initial cleanup, we're going to do Z remesher and then hit. All right, so I'm just going to go up a couple times. Our standard tool. You guys know how to do this, and hit shift. Clean up some of this stuff if you want. All right, hours of cleanup time if you want. So you can see we're going to do a project all back onto our bottom one, but we also want to do Z remesher. So again, look at your notes. We're going to divisions, cleanup, and then after that, we're going to do Z remesher. All right. So again, I get confused where it is. So you saw it there, and it's under geometry and then Z remesher. All right. So we did a Dynamesh to kind of make it watertight, so it envelopes the whole thing. And then right now we know the topology is really bad. So this is the powerful tool of ZBrush. I don't think anyone can really touch it. So we're going to hit Z remesher. All right, and you'll see it will take a little bit of time. So I may edit this down. All right, and I think I had it at level 4, so that's a little high. All right, so I'm gonna hit escape because that's taking way too long. All right, so I'm actually gonna go down to level 2 because I know division 4 is way too high, and we just basically want to see the concept. All right, so we're gonna hit Z remesher. Let's see if it goes a little bit faster this time. It is struggling today. All right, so I did it. All right, that took a while. Sorry, you may have to wind out. All right, so you can see beautiful curves here, and then you can turn that off too. All right, so we have Z remesher. Again, you guys should probably do it at a higher division. Don't know. I think I have a whole bunch of other things on my desktop running, so it definitely is an issue. All right, so what do we do? Well, we look at our cheat sheet, see what it is. All right, so Z remesher, and I'm gonna go back and divide it 5 times. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 5. All right, so now it just looks like a blob. So, but we're going to project this onto our surface. Divide 5 times with the top object selected. Hit project all. All right, so let's go ahead, go up here, and I think we want to turn that on. So we'll make sure top one is selected and project all. So we're going to go here to project, and we're going to hit project all and keep our fingers crossed. So what it's going to do with that retoped watertight object, it's going to project onto this old surface so we can get all those nooks and crannies from our beautiful scan. So we're going to hit project all and cross our fingers. Hopefully you guys have it saved. As you know, this stuff crashes, but this is a really fundamental part of doing this, is that you have really good topology, not all these millions of triangles. All right, there we go. Looks pretty good. I'm going to spin it around, and we're going to go ahead and turn off my bottom one. So we're going to see what we have. All right, so perfect. And if we hit this, we can see beautiful topology. You can see these nice quads running across the surface, where before it was this really bad. So let's actually look at what it looks like. You guys can fast forward. I know I'm rambling, but you can see night and day what that surface is. All right, so there's millions of triangles, really bad topology, and then we go back up here. Big difference. All right, so let's turn that off. All right, so again, go to our notes, and what do? Z remesher, hit project all. Now you can hit RGB mode. We don't need to do that. Duplicate after cleanup. Go to the lowest divisions, and we want to UV master this, unwrap it. All right, so a lot of this that we don't have to do, but we definitely want to go to the lowest division. So we're not interested in the bottom one, but we're going to go to geometry, and we're going to go to our lowest division. All right, so we're going to go to Z plugin, and we're going to do UV master. There it this. I am completely blind. All right, we're going to hit symmetry. Okay, it's doing its thing. All right, and as we go up the ladder, let's go down the ladder. I don't know why we went up the ladder, but we want to just make sure that the UVs came out looking good. So we go texture map, UV map, texture map, and we're going to hit create UV map. Create texture map. Create. All right. All right. So we want to create from our UV map. All right. So it looks pretty good. All right. And we'll turn this on and off after a while, but I want to make sure once we go up to a higher division that UV map is still in place. Awesome. This is great news. So we have a beautiful UV map. I know it doesn't look pretty, but it is wrapped around there nicely. So we're going to go to texture map, turn that off, and you know what to do. We're going to export this out, our high. So our division is at high. I'm going to export, and we're going to go ahead, get to see all my stuff on my desktop. So we're going to go ahead and hit shell underscore clean, whatever you want to name it, just as long as you know where it's going. Create, and we're going to hit shell underscore high. All right. And OBJ is good. And it's going to take a while to go out. This is 2.5 million polygons on here. Super heavy. That would kill any scene in Unreal and also Maya. So we're going to use the power of Substance Painter to bake in all those nooks and crannies. And you can see it's still kicking it out. I make sure of my time here. All right, so it's a little bit watertight. Definitely a lot of stuff that you could have cleaned up, which I did not, but that is a pretty awesome scan. All right, so now we're going to go down to our low. All right, we're going to export, and we're going to call this shell underscore LOW, low. All right, you can see this is 10,000 polygons. A lot lighter, still kind of heavy for what it is, but I would like to keep this high fidelity. All right, so we're going to hit save, OBJ. Go ahead and save that out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get the Substance Painter, and then we'll probably do this to a two-part. You guys saw the power of Substance Designer last class, and the scanning class. It was pretty amazing. With one of our students did on their own. Really proud of them. So now what we're going to do is a new scene. Some of you guys forgot how to do that the other day. That was funny. So what we're going to do is shell clean, low, object, and keep all this. You can probably do 2K if you want. Go ahead and get that started. You can always change that on the fly down the road. All right, so we can see this pretty smooth, but a lot of boringness. Not all the nooks and crannies are there, but that is our basic 10,000 polygon shell. So now what we're going to do is bake in our textures. So this always takes me a while to figure out where this is. I think it is. So bake mesh maps. All right, and then we want to bake in our high. So you may see me struggle here for a second because this interface has changed. All right, so we have our high definition maps, and it's right here on this little icon. Let's see, I don't even know what that icon, mesh map settings. All right, so it's buried in here. You definitely need to find it because you need to bake in those high definition, which is 306 megabytes. All right, so we hit open. All right, so you can see it's loading, probably crashing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to bake this out. Bake selected textures. Again, you have to do this before you do anything. All right, so it's doing its thing, doing the normal maps, space maps, blah, blah, blah maps, and so forth. And you think we're done? Let's hope so. Let's go ahead and return. All right, and there is our beautifully baked out maps. This has the normal maps. Pretty amazing, given that that's only probably 2 or 3 megabytes. All right, let's stop the tutorial here. Make sure you do this process that we've just done, high and low. Make sure they're baked, and also bake out all your maps. You can see them over here, your world, space, ID, normal, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm going to show you on the next video how to prep your HEIC files, which is some stupid format in iPhone, to JPEG, so we can use them in Substance Painter. All right, good luck.